Okay, there's a few things I wanted to clarify since last time. We talked about the visibility thing, but I did not explain this transform. And so I did some playing around with it and I figured out why I put it in there in the first place. Here it is. So let's comment it out and you can see what's going to happen. Oops. So we're just going to comment it out and we're going to say refresh. Now you see how this thing moved over. Now if you look, we have left 50%. What that means is the left of this box needs to be 50% right in the middle of the web browser. Well, that off centers it. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to give this, and as well as our top is 10%. So we want to put it, we want to transform or move it then after that, 50% of the width of it back in the other direction. So that's what that means. You can look up transform on the W3 schools and there's all kinds of different things you can do. You can rotate this thing, you can do all kinds of neat things. You can blur it, it's amazing what you can do. There's different functions that go with this transform. That's why we used it. When we refresh, it puts it in the center of the screen like we want it. Alright, then the other thing is our box shadow is down here. It's only 3 lines long. Last time I think I forgot to mention these 2 lines of code. Text align. We were putting the text into the middle of this box and then putting padding. And so there's a 20 pixel padding all the way around. And so that's what that is. So I think that makes everything like it should be. Before we make this hidden again, there is a little bit more styling that needs to be done to the menu itself. Elements inside the menu. So I'm going to bring those in right now. So we'll go down to the bottom. And a couple of these. First we're going into the ID of menu, and then we're going to look at this is something new you haven't seen before. This is how we signify a class. Remember, ID uses a asterisk, or a, what is that? It's a pound sign. A class uses close. If we go back to our HTML, our header that has our little X in it, that's this X, has a class of close. Don't ask me why we used a class there instead of an ID there, but we did. That's what we used. So we're going to ID menu and then ID menu and looking into the class close. I want to align that one to the right. So I want my X to be all the way over to the right. I want the color of it to be white. I want the font of it to be bold, bolder, and then I want the cursor to be a pointer. When I hover over it, I want my cursor to not be a, you can see right now it's like a selector. I want it to be a pointer. Alright, so the other thing we're going to do is we're going to look into the ID of menu and then look at the title menu class. So we go back here. My header 1 is a class of menu title, I'm sorry. So we're going to style that. Oops. Font size will be 30 pixels. I want the bottom border to be a solid white, 1 pixel. I want the color of the text to be white. I want the font variant normal. And then I'm going to take this one out because I want the font family to be the same as the rest of everything. Alright, so if we... Oh, I forgot down here. In list items. So if we're going into the menu right here and we look at all list items. So I'm just calling these elements list items. Okay, list item style is none. I'm going to take away the little bullets here. No more bullets. I'm putting the padding on the top 15 pixels, so I want a space between menu and home. And I also want padding on the bottom, 5 pixels. I just threw that in there. And then this is your hyperlinks. Are these hyperlinks? Yes, they are. They're hyperlinks inside of the list items. So in the menu, all the hyperlinks, I want them to be white. I want them not to be underlined. No text decoration. I want these to be small caps. Okay. Right now it's got capitalized and then lowercase letters, but I want it all caps. And I want them small caps. You can play around with the different options there are for font variant, and I'm going to get rid of the font change because I want it to be the same font throughout the whole thing. So if I refresh this, there we go. So that gives me a nice menu. And when I put my pointer over the X, I get the pointer. When I hover over each one of these, I get that as well. So there's our menu. Now we'll go up and we'll hide it so no one can see it. Now we did all that work. Delete that out. Delete that out. And say, you're gone. Good. Okay, next time, I said this last time, but next time we'll get into this menu, navigation menu.